it flicks this way, it'll flick this way, it can flick that way, or it can even flick that way on the rare occasion. Or it can turn over and flick upwards that way, but that's the same as doing it that way, you see. It's the same sort of thing. So the energy's coming along here. As soon as we make contact, just for a split second, the fist, I'll just use this particular fist for the moment, because that's the one we start out on. It gets more complicated as we go along, but I'll just use this particular fist. The fist will kick up at the end, and all that energy is going to come out into the object you're trying to hit and send a shock wave right up. If I'm hitting on the jaw or anywhere around the face or the neck, it'll send a shock wave right up into the brain, causing death or a knockout in the least. So that's what happens. As soon as that kinks like that, so you've got great speed, mind you, I'll show you how to get the great speed later, but you've got to have great Fa Jing, or explosive energy, of course, to start with in your arm, and that's the major part of it. But the mechanics of it is, when it reaches its object, it kicks up at the end, and thus forcing the energy to go out and into the object. So if I'm punching it like that, you see, I'll come along like this, and when I make contact, it'll kick up like so. We use these three knuckles mainly. These three knuckles are far stronger than these two knuckles together. Although these two knuckles are bigger, these three together are far stronger. You never, of course, punch with that little knuckle. You've got to make sure that when you punch, of course, that those three knuckles are making contact. See it now? If I go like that, if I turn it down, those two knuckles are coming in. There are times when we use those two, of course, when it turns down. But in this particular instance, we're kicking it up at the end, and you'll notice that those three knuckles are making contact at precisely the same time. So what happens is the knuckle comes through, bang, and it kicks up at the end. See that? So the fist closes of its own accord, really, because of the action of the body, but once again, I'll get into that later on. So as it comes through, it kicks up at the end. Now you'll notice what my thumb's doing. We don't have a fist. As soon as I close my fist like that, all of that energy that I'm trying to force out of my hand by kicking it up at the end is blocked. So we've switched off the power in the electric line. We've switched it off by simply closing the fist like this and holding a big hard fist and trying to punch like this. Like 99% of most martial artists punch is like this, unfortunately. So the thumb is up here for a reason. The Chinese say it's to bring yin and yang into the hand. There's the yang part. It's a little bit tense just there, but the rest of it is loose. And by the action of the body, the palm stays open. And when it makes contact, by this pure action of the body, I don't close my... See, if I'm doing that, that's not very fast at all. That's as fast as I can grab. See? But by the action of the body, the fist will actually close automatically like this, with the thumb in there like that, and then the fist will kick up at the end. It'll just kick up like so. And thus keeping this all straight down here. Whereas if I close my fist, that's what tends to happen. It's all bent and you can do yourself a damage, you see. But when you do it with the... See, if I do it like this, I'll just do a little bit of Fa Jing here, put a little bit in it. See how straight that is? Perfectly physically sound, and so I'm getting a direct connection between here, right down through my shoulders, right down through my body, and down to the center, down to the dantian. So it's the center that's causing the action of the fist to work, like so. It's the body making the fist make the punch, not me going, oh, we're all set to do this and to do that, and then turn that up at the end. You see, I'm not doing that physically, not like this. Not like that. See, that's just pure physical triceps power. The arms must be dangling loose like a rubber doll, like a rag doll rather. They must be loose. And at the end of it, because of the action, what the body does, it kicks this up at the end automatically, and so, bah, you get this explosion of energy coming out of it. So we're not going to punch like this. You can do damage like that, of course, but you want to do the greatest amount of damage. Use internal punching so that you're not only using physical force, and it's the force that can be generated physically is huge, only from a short distance. By the way, using this sort of punching, you really have to punch, that would probably be the shortest distance you'd have to be away from the thing to punch someone, if you don't just want to simply push them over. Or, you know, like most karate schools, back here like this and get this big twist of the waist and throw the hand out like this in a line with the body, with the shoulder. That's just shoulder push, shoulder punch. You want to be able to punch from this distance, right here. That's where you have to punch from. This is why so many hard-style martial artists are defeated or get decked in the street, because they're simply not used to a good grappler, for instance, or a good street fighter literally being in here before they know it. And because they haven't trained at punching from here, they've got to step back and hang on. Shouldn't we start like this? Shouldn't we start like this? You know, that's the problem. The good street fighter, bah! He can be on you in a second. You don't, and in that case, you must know how to punch from here with great power, using energy. You have to. If the grappler's here or the good street fighter's here, you are not going to have time to bring your fist back here or even get ready for it. You see, even if you're standing in a good on-guard position, he'll be on you before you even know it. So even if you are in a good on-guard position, you've got to be able to punch from there while he's on you. And even if you're in a good on-guard position, there's no use training here and saying, oh, I'm going to train, punching my hard-style punches on the mitt like this, because that's not going to be where your opponent is. Your opponent's not going to stand there and let you punch him. Your opponent's going to be here. Now where are you? You see? You're going to have to punch from that distance. See that? And you can using internal punching. You see that shock that put through Eli's body then. But that's where you've got to punch from. You must punch from there. You haven't got time to pull back here. So the very first thing we learn in internal punching is how to hold the fist. And that's what I've said. There's the fist. That's how it's going to be when it closes. You notice this here is not even hardly making contact here. When it closes, it'll be tense for a split second, and then it'll be back into an open palm again. You're much better off with your open palm, because from an open palm you can go to grabbing, you can go to finger strikes, you can go to palm strikes, back palm strikes. You've got a myriad of different things. But if you keep your fists closed, all you can do is punch and block. So as soon as you've made your punch, don't leave your fist there. It's ready again, you see. But the beauty of this is that it's the action that you're doing with your body that's making the fist close and relax again. You don't have to think. I've seen people doing the karate style punches, or I try to teach them this, and they'll go, you see, in that time, too late, you see. You want it to relax. You watch, you see, you won't even see my fist open, or closed rather. It'll just be, it looks like I've just gone like that.